Okay, so of course there is an offensive component to the centerline punch. It's actually much more offensive than it is defensive in its nature. A side note that you want to keep in mind is that the centerline punch actually doesn't only need to be used down your actual center, down this triangulated stance and formation. It's relative to your opponent. So if, for example, Carson throws a punch to me from the side down towards my center, then I can still use that. This is still a centerline strike, yeah? Because I'm coming from my center to his center, yeah? I'm hitting or blocking, sorry, at the same time. Now, even if he's here, so if he comes in front of me here, and he throws a punch down this way, and I'm facing away from him for whatever reason, then this is still a centerline punch. So the formation is still a centerline strike because it's from my center to his center. That's just something to keep in mind. It's just easier to practice when it's directly in front of you. Now, let's look at it as a strike. If you can grab the pad. So, starting from your stance and guard, keep your spine nice and upright. And from your stance and guard, so, simple, reaching straight forward, down your center. Now, things to think about is, so, things to think about, start from your stance and guard, make sure you're covering your center line. As you bring your hand forward, close your fist. So, rather than going 1, 2, we come forward as we close the fist. It just saves a little bit of time. Yeah? So, close your fist as you come forward. Third thing to think about, make contact with the bottom 3 knuckles and fingers. So spine tall, cover the center, close the fist as you come forward, and make contact with the bottom 3 knuckles and fingers. Now, another thing you can bring into it once you feel comfortable with that is reaching straight through. So in my mind's eye, I'm punching into Carson's center as though I'm reaching into his center. This doesn't mean you have to be able to physically reach it, it just means you're targeting your intent there. So rather than me, for example, going to the front of the pad, I think of like straightening my arm and targeting my mass and my power into Carson's center. Okay, so once again, guard stays on center. Close the hand as you reach forward. Make contact with the bottom 3 knuckles and fingers and reaching through into the target. Now, of course, I mean, when you're practicing with a partner, you can do it on a pad here, or if you've got focus mitts, you can hold it up as well. But in a self-defense situation, it really depends. Like if this is life or death, which is kind of what Wing Chun's for, it's for real self-defense, right? You know, the throat's a target, but it's not necessarily accessible because of the width and shape of this to go under the chin. Won't necessarily reach through, so a general target would most likely be the jaw. That's probably the tip of the jaw is probably the most likely target on whichever angle you might get it. Other targets could actually be the solar plexus. If you do have lower hands for some reason in a fight situation, you can drive a centerline punch into the solar plexus. And when, once again, if this is self-defense, drive it right through. You're thinking like bullet through the target kind of concept. The neck, if the neck's available, if they're like a giraffe and they've got a giant neck, then fantastic. That's ultimately the best target, generally speaking. The ear, I'd prefer you use palms. I mean, the groin, if they're a giant, if you can centerline punch them in the nuts, that's fantastic. But then, if you're fighting someone that big, you should probably think about going somewhere else. Okay, so there are a few points on the centerline punch. Now, if you are on your own, you can easily do this on a heavy bag, on a wall bag. Some of the exercises before, the ones where we're not actually striking stuff, Carson suggested you use a mirror, so that's rewind, you can use a mirror for that. But when we're actually hitting things, put some pillows up somewhere where you can hit them. I'd suggest you actually invest in a heavy bag, simple and easy. If you do have the economy for it, get yourself a wooden dummy, you can put pads around that too. So just striking your bag. Now, you can once again use the the different types of systems, so strength, structure, state, to get an experience. For those of you who aren't sure what I'm talking about, I'll be doing some videos about that soon. Also, you can go and check out the state training in the classroom, and that will give you some understanding of how to use different systems as well. Okay, so that's all on the Centreline punch, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.